Hello, vinyl community. Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and there's a new thread, and I thought I would make my entry into that thread. It's called Seven Albums, Seven Genres, and the idea is to show seven albums from genres that you normally don't collect, or you don't have much of. It's not in your wheelhouse, I guess you would say. Now, Jack at the Vinyl Voyage, who, judging from the St. Andrew's cross behind him and the accent, I believe is Scottish. Jack has started this thread, and I've seen two or three others. Dave at Local Bandography was the first one I watched, and I've seen a couple of others. So it's very interesting to see people showing stuff that they don't normally show on their channel, or that they don't have much of, or not something they're really into collecting. So the first one I will show is African folk music. I collect a lot of folk music, but I don't venture into the continent of Africa that much with my folk music. So I'll show you this album, and I'll have to look at my notes to pronounce his name. And his name is Ikuka Morris Sirkita, and the album is called Kwaro Alingo Ikuka. Uh, he plays an instrument called the lukeme, Lukeme, which is a thumb piano, which you can see here in this painting. Uh, and he is from Uganda. He used to play on Ugandan radio, but had never recorded until he did this album a few years ago. And very interesting music, very enjoyable music. I got this through Bandcamp. And I went and checked just a little while ago, and unfortunately, there are no more remaining. There were 200 printed, and they have sold out. So I got it before it disappeared, and I paid a normal price for it, maybe $25 plus shipping, something like that, and it's shot up. According to Discogs, it's selling for about $100 now, but I'm not planning on selling it because it's interesting music and I enjoy it. And when you want to hear something out of the norm, it's something I can put on and listen to and appreciate.
Para Johnny, did I could be on your chorpede to ye? Charama, did I could be on your chorpede to ye? We love on the Johnny Capri, quite him, Grandma Parama, me now what I Johnny. We love on the Johnny Capri, quite in a pair of fat, thinking the government at Yamita.
Number two is Indian music, specifically the sitar, and I don't normally collect music from India. This is Ravi Shankar and Portrait of Genius, a 1965 album. He toured the United States on several occasions, put on workshops and all that sort of thing. This is on World Pacific. And of course, we all know the rock fans from the 60s know the heavy influence he had on rock and roll in that mid 60s period. We were hearing sitar in so much music, so much pop music or rock music. Rolling Stones were using it, the Beatles obviously were using it, and a lot of other other groups. A lot of people learn to play the sitar. They say it's very difficult to play. Number three are soundtracks. I have a few soundtracks, but it's not something I spend a lot of time searching for. But there are a few that should be in everyone's collections. The Sound of Music, I think, ought to be in everyone's collections. That's a classic. But there is no more grail uh, when it comes for the vinyl community when it comes to soundtracks than Ice Castles. And I have two copies, and I'm always looking for another one. Always looking to raise the bar a little bit in the condition. This is a VG. I've got one more I've got to clean up. I'm hoping it's going to be the VG Plus or the Near Mint I'm looking for. What more can you say? Marvin Hamlish doing the music. We've got one song from Melissa Manchester, Through the Eyes of Love, she does. We've got Alan Parsons Project doing a song called Voyager on here. Everything else written, conducted, uh, produced by Marvin Hamlish. But Ice Castles, the movie, the greatness of the movie, the cinematic wonder of the movie is only exceeded by the soundtrack of said movie.
It took a lot of strength.
Oh, baby.
And most of all,
You did a double.
it took a lot of love.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back a very brave young athlete, Alexis Winston.
Robbie Benson, Lynn Holly Johnson, in the story of a girl who refused to forget that she was once a champion.
Number four, I do not collect country pop or pop country or uh, whatever you want to call it. I usually refer to it as top 40 country, radio country. I do not collect that music, but I do have this Reba McEntire, and it's signed by Reba. And what can you say? It's good music. You know, it's not something I seek out. It's not something I'm going to put on the turntable. But you got to love Reba. What a wonderful personality. And she's parlayed her musical career into a television career. That TV show, Reba, man, we watched that in reruns for years, years. And it's always funny. It's always, nothing too bad about it, kind of wholesome. Although, number five, I normally don't collect sports albums, but I certainly have this one, and it's one of my valued, loved, beloved albums. This is called Pack Power, and this was put out by the North Carolina State University Wolfpack Club, and it is on Fleetwood Records, and it commemorates. Let's see. It's narrated by Wally Osmond, longtime voice of the Wolfpack, and it commemorates the amazing 1973-74 season of the NC State Wolfpack when they finally broke the stranglehold the UCLA Bruins had on national championships in college basketball in the United States. And
he missed. Thompson cleared the boards and the Wolfpack drove down court. The feed went back to Thompson, who hit a driving bank shot to put State in the lead 76-75 as the crowd roared its approval. The Bruins set up Lee for a clear shot from 15 feet, but he missed it. Wilkes rebounded. but was called for pushing Thompson to gain board position. Thompson made both of these all-important shots, and the Pack had a 78-75 lead with only 34 seconds left. But it was Tom Burleson, appropriately, who capped the lid. With 27 seconds showing on the clock, he intercepted a lead to Walton pass. State tried to stall, but Toe was fouled by Curtis. And his final 2 free throws put the game out of reach. And Greensboro Coliseum erupted in celebration. Final score in double overtime. North Carolina State 80, UCLA 77.
Number 6. This is a album by Harvey Pollock, the Whistler. And guess what it is? It's him whistling. That's right. With a full orchestra. Lots of musicians playing on this. Now, Harvey Pollock won the first international whistling competition, which took place in Nevada, not Las Vegas, though. I believe it was Carson City, Nevada. Yes, and that's what he won. And this is a hard one to categorize, other than to say it's a whistling album. I don't collect whistling albums, but if I did, this would definitely be the first one I'd have in my collection. Number 7 is an album that is full of music that is hard to figure out exactly what you call it. How do you categorize it? And that's what he wanted. It's what Jack wanted from the last one. It was something that's hard to pin down or describe or characterize. John Cage and Christian Wolff. Generally speaking, we would say these were composers, modern composers. What do you call what they do on this album? Now, it's on Mainstream Records, and it originally came out in 1963, and this is a 1970 reissue. And on side 1, John Cage is dedicated to John Cage's work, and Christian Wolff takes care of side 2 on here. But what do you call this? Modern, electronic, classical, experimental might be the right word for it. Avant-garde. I don't know. I just listened to it about 2 or 3 days ago. Side 1 is called Cartridge Music, and it's John Cage's composition. And there are no musical instruments in here. What he's doing on this is he's hooking up cartridges and styluses to different places and running them into amps. He's hooking up random microphones onto objects in the room and things like that. And then the recording is the sounds that come out of that. So there's no melody there, none. And there's no musical instruments in there. It's sounds. Okay, it's sounds. So therefore, maybe experimental or avant-garde. I wouldn't call it music. I would just call it experimental sounds. To be the hardest to characterize. And it's definitely not something that I'm going to be collecting, but it's interesting to hear and know when someone says, "Have you ever listened to any John Cage?" Yeah, I've got one of his albums. All right, folks. This is a fun little thread, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my records that I selected for this little thread. And I just want to remind everybody that there's a whole lot of hate in this world, but we ought to all try to be kind. And the best way you can do that is to be kind to your neighbors, to love your neighbors. Because remember, folks, we're all neighbors. Take care.